Hi folks, so what we're going to be doing in this question is another orthographic problem, and you can see it is based on this structure here. Okay, so as always with an orthographic question, what you're going to do is you're going to read the information first and then obviously apply that to the problem. So it says here the figure below shows a pictorial view of a platform. Okay, so there's the platform, person standing on it there. Each step is of equal height. Okay, so if we actually look at the overall height of the steps, there's 3 steps. The overall height is actually at 30 millimeters high. This is 30 millimeters here. That makes each individual step, because there's 3 of them, each individual step is 10 millimeters high. Okay, so that's the first bit we figured out. And then it says draw full size and elevation looking in the direction of arrow A. So you can see here for arrow A is pointing in this direction, the left hand direction as we're looking at it on the sheet. And I've got done a little stick, red stick figure here, basically because the red stick figure is kind of signifying obviously all the red surfaces that I can see on the sheet as I shaded them in. I can see all of them when I'm looking in the direction of arrow A. Likewise, for the end elevation in the direction of arrow B, I've done it in blue. I can see the side of this face here, over to here, okay? And then a plan projected from A above, a plan projected from the elevation. It's like I'm a bird looking down on top of it, getting the bird's eye view. I've shaded all of those in green, all these surfaces here. Okay, there is some surfaces then I've done in different colors. This surface here, okay, where the steps are at the side, is yellow. The reason being is because I can see this surface in 2 views. I can see it in both view A and view B. Likewise with the sloping surface here, or the curved surface, not a slope, sorry, a curved surface, I can see that perfectly from the bird's eye view, and I can also see it going up vertically from view B as well. Okay, so that's important to note as well there. So there's lots of surface here we can see in 2 views. So what we're going to do is we always work out our overall measurements. Okay, our length is in the direction of arrow A because that's associated with the elevation. So 120 millimeters long. Our width is in the direction of arrow B, or end elevation is 90 overall. And then the overall height is 110. 60 plus 20 plus 30. 60 plus 20 is 80 plus 30 is 110. So in setting up the orthographic, we're always going to draw in our XY line, which splits the vertical and horizontal plane. The vertical plane is the upright one. The horizontal plane is the one on the ground. And what we're going to do then is position our views. The elevation is pointing in the direction of arrow A. So what I say to my students is, you're going to position the arrow A, or the view for the elevation, on the left hand side of the XY line because arrow A is pointing to the left. And then the end elevation will go on the right hand side, so it goes on the right of the elevation. Okay, so that's what we do. So I'm going to refer to my sheet here. I've already drawn my elevation box. As you can see, it's on the left hand side of the XY line. The end elevation will go over here on the right of the elevation, and then projected a 45-degree line down, and I was able to transfer my widths down to my plan. Okay, so that's the setup there. That should be fairly familiar to you at this stage. So what we're going to start doing now is, I'm going to start with the elevation. I'm going to put in my various heights, so 10 for each step, 10, 10, and 10. Then I'm going to go up 20 and 60 left over. And then I will put in some various widths that I have here as well. Okay, so let's speed it up there a little bit. So I'm going to go 10, 10, and 10 for the steps. Doesn't matter, I'm going to measure them from the right hand side. It makes absolutely no difference. So 10 plus 20 plus 30, and then 30 plus another 20 will be 50. That's all my heights. I'm now going to put them in very, very lightly all the way across. So I'm using a biro for my light lines. I'm going to go over them then with a marker at the very end. I'm going to do this one here. Okay, that is all my lengths, or sorry, heights going across the page. Now, in relation to my lengths, I do not know the exact length here of this section here at the front, or this step, or this step. Okay, because they don't tell me that, it's probably some other view that I'm going to have to find them in. Okay, and I can see they do give me a bit of information here that it is at 60 degrees, this kind of cut surface here. Okay, and each step is back 15, so it might actually have to help me out maybe in my end elevation or my plan before I can determine these edges here in my elevation. But one thing I can do is I can put in this curve. Now it just says R here, which stands for radius. If our overall length is 120, sorry, bring that down to the screen. If our overall length is 120, well then half of 120, which is going to be the diameter from here to here, is our radius. So if it's 120 diameter, the radius is going to be 60. Okay, we can see 60 plus 60 adds to 120. So I have to find that middle point there, which is on this line. So to do that, I can see it's on this line here. I'm going to measure half of 120, which is going to be 60. Right there is going to be my center point. I'm just going to mark that. Now, using my compass, what I would do then is setting up my compass as best I can. Hopefully this works out. Just check it up here. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Let's see how it's looking on this side. Tiny bit of inaccuracy there. Maybe go a little bit, just a touch harder. There we go. Quite happy with that. That's okay. Okay, so there is my semicircle done for the top of it. That is as much of the elevation that I can draw right now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to the end elevation. So any heights that I have, transfer them across. And bring this guy across. Okay, just a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my various widths, looking in the direction of ROB. So I have 15, 30, 15, 15, and 15. So that's all my widths there. I'm going to put them all in one go. So starting off with the first one, at the bottom I'm going to measure 15. And 15 plus 30 is going to be 45. Now from here, I'm going to go to the 0 like that. Okay, or you could have done it from the front, but I'm just going to move the 0 over onto the 45. And I'm going to go 3 15s. 15 plus 15 is 30, with 15 left over. Now for every one of them, I can actually draw in my steps. So I'm going to see this yellow surface here. Okay, that's what I'm going to draw in first of all. And I'm going to meet this edge right here. So that edge is actually at the 45, which is right there. And then the first step is going to go into here, and the second step is going to go into here. The first step goes to the top, apologies, and the second step goes to here. Okay, so I'll actually heavy in some of that information now. So I'm going to heavy in this edge, and here's the steps, 15 millimeters, 15, and 15. I'll heavy this in, just to make it a little bit more clear to us. So that section right there that I've heavied in is this yellow surface here. Okay, if I just heavy in all of that. So I've heavied in all that. That's what I'm after drawing on my sheet. Now I can actually draw in this section here as well. Okay, I want to get this in, and this bit here is going to go all the way up to here until I can't see it any further. It's going to go all the way up there, usually up to the topmost point, as far as I can see there. Okay, so that's going to go all the way to the top. And that's from the 15 down here. So where that 15 was, I'm going to transfer that all the way up to the top. And then heavy that in. Because when we look at a curved surface, okay, from the side, a cylinder, it's actually going to appear as a rectangle. And there we have it. That is actually my end elevation completely drawn, completed there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way down to the plan. So to get to the plan, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer down any widths that we have. So here's the first width. Bring this down. I'm going to transfer down to the next width. Then each individual step. Step 1, step 2 and 3. Okay. Now to complete that, I'm going to bring all my steps over completely. And bring the curved surface over as well. Now, what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to heavy in the top of the curved surface. So I'm the bird looking down on top of it, and I'm going to actually see all of that, all the way over to here. Okay, but what I'm actually going to see when I'm looking down top of it, I can't see the curve when I'm looking down top. So what I'm actually going to see is a rectangle from the furthest left to the furthest right point. Okay, so I'm actually going to see a rectangle, and that rectangle is going from here to here in elevation and here to here in my end elevation. So it's in between these two lines. So if I follow them down and bring them across, here is my rectangle. So I'm going to heavy that in. Okay, so there's the rectangle that I said at the start is kind of my green-blue rectangle that I'm seeing. And now the next section I'm going to actually see is this bit here on top with the steps. And this is the bit that's actually going to help us complete our elevation. So it says here at the very, very bottom, from this point here, what is the angle of this step? It is going at 60 degrees. Likewise, on the opposite side, it's also going at 60 degrees. So that's going to actually enable us then to kind of figure out all of these. And we'll be able to heavy all of that kind of section in as we're looking down at it, including this line and this line. Okay, so that's what we're going to do now. So 60 degrees from this point here, which is 45 millimeters down. Okay, so that point there is this edge here. So if I follow that down and across, the two places I'm going to do it from are here and here. So 60 degrees, we're going to use our 60, 30 degree set square. So for one side, I'm going to use it like this. Just straighten that up there a little bit, the camera. There we go. So from this point here, I'm going to go 60 degrees down. And then from the other side, I want to do 60 degrees like this. And that has actually helped me complete my plan view. So there's that edge. I'm going to heavy that in. I'm going to heavy in this edge. And then I'm going to get two vertical lines here and here. And then my various steps. So the first step is out here at the end. That's where the first step starts. Then it's going to end here. So as I look down across, that's the second step. And then finally the third step is here. This one is just for the edge, so I don't heavy in this line. Okay, so that's the plan view completed. Now with the plan view completed, I want to get my elevation view completed. So the first step we have now discovered is this far wide. Just to refer to our drawing, the first step, remember I couldn't figure out this measurement, or this one, or this one. I have now found them in my plan view. So the first one is from here to here. Okay, so what am I going to do with that? I'm going to transfer it up. So this will come up just as far as the first step there and there. Okay, the second step will go up to the second height, because we can see this is the second step here. And finally the third step, which is going to come from here, is going to go up to the third height, there and there. And now it's a process of heavying in the information. So I'm going to get all my vertical lines in one go. As best I can, keeping it neat and tidy. Obviously on the day of an exam, you'll be using this with a pencil. And now I'm going to get in my horizontal lines. So I'll go to there, to there, and finally here. And the last little bit, just get the bottom as well. The last little bit we actually have to heavy in then is the curve at the top. So just going to get my compass attachment here again. Hopefully this comes out neat and tidy for me. Sometimes when you're working with markers. So putting this on here, out to this guy, and I'll just see how it fixes on this side. That's looking okay. So here we go, using my compass. And there we have it. Okay, elevation view completely drawn, okay, with the curved surface at the back and the individual steps put in on either side. Okay, that bit there was a little bit tricky on this side and figuring it out from the plan. So that's the question done, guys. Hope you found that helpful. That's it though.